Well, welcome to Midday Prime. I'm Gautam Roy, and the next 1 hour will bring you up to speed with all that is going on in the country and the world in different fields. We'll get to the latest on what is happening as far as Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visits to Assam and West Bengal are concerned, or what has the fate been of the Puducherry government in that particular union territory, or for that matter, what is happening, which is the latest on the Iran nuclear deal front. But first up, our big news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches several projects for Assam, including key projects in the petroleum sector. Addressing a huge rally at Dhemaji, the PM says his government is committed for all-round development of North-East, including Assam. The Congress government led by V. Narayanasamy fails to prove its majority in the Puducherry Assembly. Chief Minister Narayanasamy submits his resignation letter to Lieutenant Governor. India reports over 14,000 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. Surge in COVID cases in Maharashtra leads to strict restrictions in several cities, including capital Mumbai. Mumbai police is authorized now to penalize offenders. All educational institutions, major markets closed in Nagpur till the 7th of March. Night curfew in Pune. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds bilateral meeting with his Mauritius counterpart on the second leg of his visit to the Indian Ocean region. The two countries issue a joint statement pledging stronger bilateral ties. In international news, Boeing 777 planes grounded by United Airlines after parts of the engine fell during takeoff recently. Japan goes one step further, bans the use of the Premier jet in all airlines. The International Atomic Energy Agency strikes a deal with Iran before the deadline of 21st of February set by Iran. The UN nuclear watchdog to continue verification and monitoring activities for 3 more months. However, right to carry out snap inspections suspended. And day-night pink ball test match starts at Motera Stadium in Ahmedabad from Wednesday. Rohit Sharma says that the pitch will be very similar to the second test played in Chennai. Both the teams sweat it out during practice. Okay, it's time now to begin Midday Prime with the big news. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated several key projects of the oil and gas sector today to the nation at Sirapathar in the Dhemaji district in Assam. The Prime Minister also inaugurated a gas compressor station at Hebeda village, Makum, Tinsukia, Oil India Limited's secondary tank farm at Madhuban, Dibrugarh, and INMAX unit at Indian Oil's Bongaigaon refinery. He also inaugurated the Dhemaji Engineering College and laid the foundation stone for Sualkuchi Engineering College. The PM said that these projects will change the fortunes of not just the people of Assam, but also the people of the North-East.
भारत को दुनिया की बड़ी गैस पाइपलाइन में से एक के जरिए जोड़ा जा रहा है। नीति सही हो, नियत साफ हो, तो नियति भी बदलती। पूरी नियत का खात्मा हो जाता है और नियति जन जन का भाग्य भी बदलती है। आज देश में जो गैस पाइपलाइन का नेटवर्क तैयार हो रहा है, देश के हर गांव तक ऑप्टिकल फाइबर बिछाया जा रहा है, हर घर जल पहुंचाने के लिए पाइप लगाया जा रहा है। ये भारत मां की गोद में ये जो सारा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिछाया जा रहा है, वो सिर्फ लोहे की पाइप या फाइबर नहीं है, ये तो भारत मां की नई भाग्य रेखाएं हैं.
And the PM had more while addressing the people in Assam. He said that because of the Brahmaputra river, the soil of Assam is most fertile. He assured that the government is committed to the welfare of farmers and the fisheries industry.
यहां के किसान अपने सामर्थ्य को बढ़ा सके, उन्हें खेती की आधुनिक सुविधाएं मिल सके, उनकी आय बढ़े, इसके राज्य और केंद्र सरकार मिलकर काम कर रही है. किसानों के बैंक खातों में सीधे पैसे ट्रांसफर करना हो, किसानों को पेंशन के लिए योजना शुरू करना हो, उन्हें अच्छे बीज देना हो, सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड देना हो, उनकी हर जरूरत सर्वोपरि रखते हुए काम किया जा रहा है. मछली व्यवसाय से जुड़े किसानों के लिए 20,000 करोड़ रुपए की एक बहुत बड़ी योजना भी बनाई गई है. सरकार का प्रयास है कि असम का किसान, देश का किसान जो पैदावार करता है वो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार तक पहुंचे. इसके लिए कृषि से जुड़े कानूनों में भी सुधार किया गया है.
And the PM also said that there was a lot of potential in parts of the northeast of the country, but previous governments acted to alienate the region and they were indifferent to the development of the region. The current central government is acting with the right policy and intent.
नॉर्थ बैंक में भरपूर सामर्थ्य होने के बावजूद पहले की सरकारों ने इस क्षेत्र के साथ सौतेला व्यवहार किया. यहां की कनेक्टिविटी हो, अस्पताल हो, शिक्षा के संस्थान हो, उद्योग हो, पहले की सरकारों की प्राथमिकता में नजर ही नहीं आ रहे थे. सबका साथ, सबका विश्वास, सबका विकास, इस मंत्र पर काम कर रही हमारी सरकार ने, सर्बानंद जी की सरकार ने इस भेदभाव को दूर किया है. साथियों, इसी कड़ी में आज असम को 3,000 करोड़ से ज्यादा के एनर्जी और एजुकेशन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट का एक नया उपहार मिला रहा है.
And while also addressing the people of Assam, Union Cabinet Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, Dharmendra Pradhan lauded Prime Minister Modi for prioritizing Assam and the northeast states in terms of development.
जब से प्रधानमंत्री जी ने देश की जिम्मेवारी संभाली है, उन्होंने एक ही विषय हम सभी को जिम्मेवारी दिया है. जब तक आसाम की विकास नहीं होगा, पूर्वोत्तर की विकास नहीं होगा, पूर्वी भारत की विकास नहीं होगा, पूर्वोदय की विकास नहीं होगा, भारत की संपूर्ण विकास की कल्पना पूरा नहीं होगा.
Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal also expressed his gratitude to Prime Minister Modi and stated that the PM has taken care of the development and welfare of Assam like a parent cares for his or her child. He also said that the Assamese government is committed to work together with the centre to make India self-reliant.
आपने हमें हर पल ख्याल रखा और हमारे विकास के लिए आपने जैसे सहयोग किया, जैसे माँ बाप अपने बच्चों का ख्याल रखता है, उसी हिसाब से आपने हमें बहुत बहुत प्यार दिया है, बहुत बहुत सहयोग किया है. मोदी जी, आप नॉर्थ ईस्ट का हर व्यक्ति का हृदय में बसा हुआ है. आप पर लोगों का जो विश्वास है, वो विश्वास इस जन्म में कभी टूटेगा नहीं, कभी टूटेगा नहीं. ये विश्वास जिंदा रहेगा और उसी विश्वास को हम आधार मान के अगले दिनों में हमारे समाज को उजागर बनाने के लिए और आत्मनिर्भर भारत साकार करने के लिए हम आत्मनिर्भर असम बनाएंगे।
The PM will also be later visiting West Bengal, where he will inaugurate the extension of metro railway from Noapada to Dakshineshwar and flag off the first service on the stretch as well. This 4.1 kilometer long extension has been constructed at a cost of 464 crore rupees and has been fully funded by the central government. Now, this will decongest road traffic and improve urban mobility. This extension will ease out access to two world-famous Kali temples at Kali Ghat and Dakshineshwar for lakhs of tourists and devotees. The PM will also dedicate many other development projects of Eastern Railways to the nation. These projects will ensure better operational fluidity, less journey time and enhanced safety of train operations, as well as boost the overall economic growth of the region. He will also address a public meeting in Hooghly. And let me now take you across to my colleague and our correspondent Rajiv Bhattacharya, who is joining us for more details on this from Kolkata. Rajiv, just tell us, when is the PM arriving there and what sort of preparations have been put in place? I believe a lot of people gathered in Hooghly to listen to him as well.
Right, Gautam. Right now, as I'm talking to you, you can see these two white pandals behind me. One will host the public meeting of the Prime Minister, and the second one will see the Prime Minister inaugurate these infrastructure projects. I wish we could show you the way people are coming in, but that is slightly far away from where we are standing. But even now, the ground is totally full of people, and even then people are streaming in to hear and listen to the Prime Minister, and there's a lot of enthusiasm in Hooghly itself for this program and for the chance to listen to the Prime Minister and hear him speak personally. And as you were saying, that these infrastructure projects are also very important in terms of development of the state. So all in all, a very, very important meeting, public meeting as well as a government meeting awaits the people of Hooghly and Bengal in a few hours from now. Gautam.
Now, if you extend it to what's already happened in Assam today, it's very clear that along with the Northeast, this particular government of Prime Minister Modi it has plans for the entire eastern region of the country, and through that it needs to extend. It is building upon the vision to extend India's influence even in Southeast Asia. Rajiv, can you hear me? We seem to have lost that link with Rajiv Bhattacharya. We'll try and reconnect as and when that is possible, but for the moment we will move on. And let's get you what our developing story is at the moment. Now, in a huge setback to the Congress party ahead of elections in Puducherry, the Speaker today announced that V. Narayanaswamy's government has lost its majority in the Union Territory. Chief Minister V. Narayanaswamy failed to win a trust vote called by Lieutenant Governor Tamilisai Soundararajan after 5 ruling alliance MLAs resigned over the last 1 month. The Speaker said that the confidence motion brought in by the Chief Minister had been defeated and adjourned the House sine die. Puducherry Chief Minister Narayanaswamy submitted his resignation to Lieutenant Governor Tamilisai Soundararajan after his government lost its majority on the floor of the House. Speaking inside the Assembly after the vote, Narayanaswamy said that his government has ruled for 5 years and now they will again go to the people. All right, let's take you across to my colleague Philip Matthew for more on this. Philip, just take us through, what this change really means, this loss of face in the south for the Congress its lone government in Puducherry, now part of history books.
Congress government, this really is a
We seem to be having trouble connecting with Philip at the moment. We'll move on for the time being and get you what is in our national prime. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that India is one of the largest defence importers and now the stress is on becoming self-reliant. He said this while speaking at a webinar for effective implementation of the Union Budget's provisions in the defence sector. He also said that with the creation of the post of Chief of Defence Staff, it has facilitated procurement of equipment for all the three wings in uniformity.
चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ के पद का गठन होने से प्रोक्योरमेंट, प्रोसेस, ट्रायल एंड टेस्टिंग, उपकरणों के इंडक्शन, सर्विसेज की प्रक्रियाओं में यूनिफॉर्मिटी लाना बहुत सरल हो गया है और हमारे सभी डिफेंस फोर्स के सभी तीनों विंग के सहयोग से ये काम बहुत तेजी से आगे भी बढ़ रहा है। इस साल के बजट में सेना के आधुनिकीकरण की एक प्रतिबद्धता और मजबूत हुई है। करीब 1.5 दशक बाद डिफेंस सेक्टर में कैपिटल आउटले में 19% की बढ़ोतरी की गई है।
And the PM also said that the centre has made a list of 100 items for import embargo. Speaking on provisions for defence sector in the budget, he added that the list makes us Atmanirbhar as our manufacturing capability will improve and there will be more job opportunities.
भारत ने डिफेंस से जुड़े ऐसे 100 महत्वपूर्ण डिफेंस आइटम्स की लिस्ट बनाई जिसे नेगेटिव लिस्ट कहते हैं, जिन्हें हम अपनी स्थानीय इंडस्ट्री की मदद से मैन्युफैक्चर कर सकते हैं। इसलिए टाइमलाइन इसलिए रखी गई है ताकि हमारी इंडस्ट्री जरूरतों का पूरा करने का सामर्थ्य हासिल करने के लिए प्लान कर सके। सरकारी भाषा में ये नेगेटिव लिस्ट है, लेकिन मैं इसको जरा अलग तरीके से देखता हूं। जिसको दुनिया नेगेटिव लिस्ट के नाम से जानती है, मेरी दृष्टि से ये आत्मनिर्भरता की भाषा में पॉजिटिव लिस्ट है। ये वो पॉजिटिव लिस्ट है जिसके बल पर हमारी अपनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैपेसिटी बढ़ने वाली है।
And the Prime Minister also stressed on boosting private partnership in the defence sector. He urged the private sector to contribute in design as well as development besides manufacturing of defence equipments.
मैं आज इस बैठक में आप सभी को ये भरोसा देता हूं कि डिफेंस सेक्टर से जुड़ा हर वो सामान जिसे बनाने का सामर्थ्य देश में है, किसी सरकारी या प्राइवेट कंपनी में है, वो बाहर से लाने की अप्रोच नहीं रखी जाएगी। आपने देखा होगा रक्षा के कैपिटल बजट में भी डोमेस्टिक प्रोक्योरमेंट के लिए एक हिस्सा रिजर्व कर दिया गया है। ये भी हमारा एक नया इनिशिएटिव है। ये प्राइवेट सेक्टर से आग्रह करूंगा कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के साथ साथ डिजाइन और डेवलपमेंट में भी आप आगे आएं।
And Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said at the event the Union Budget 2021-22 stands out as a unique initiative of our government. Speaking at the webinar on defence budget, the Defence Minister said the defence budget has seen an unprecedented increase of 18.75% in capital outlay over the last year and 30% over the year before, which is the highest in the last 15 years. He said the embargo on imports is planned to be progressively implemented between 2020 to 2024. The Defence Minister further said that all necessary steps will be taken to ensure that timelines for production of equipment according to the negative import list are met.
To be progressively implemented between 2020 to 2024. All necessary steps would be taken to ensure that timelines for production of equipment as per the negative import list are met.
Rajnath Singh further said that the opening up of the defence sector for private sector participation is helping foreign original equipment manufacturers or OEMs to enter into strategic partnerships with Indian companies. He further said that due to these reforms, the FDI in India in defence sector has jumped by more than 200% to 2,871 crore rupees worth of FDI that has been put in the defence sector in the last 6 years.
The opening up of the defence sector for private sector participation is helping foreign OEMs enter into strategic partnership with Indian companies and leverage opportunities in the domestic market as well as global markets. Due to these reforms, the FDI in India in defence sector has jumped by more than 200%. Rupees 2,871 crore worth FDI has been invested in defence sector in last 6 years.
And keeping in mind the Make in India initiative, the Defence Ministry has set a target to achieve a turnover of 1,75,000 crore rupees or $25 billion US, including export of 35,000 crore rupees or $5 billion US in aerospace and defence goods and services by the year 2024.
This objective in mind, Ministry of Defence has set a target to achieve a turnover of rupees 1,75,000 crore. I mean 25 billion US dollar, including export of rupees 35,000 crore. I mean 5 billion US dollar in aerospace and defence goods and services by the year 2024.
Now, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has reached Mauritius on the second leg of his visit to the Indian Ocean region. He was welcomed by Foreign Minister Alan Ganu. The External Affairs Minister's visit is being seen as an outreach effort to the nations of the Indian Ocean region. During his visit to Mauritius, the External Affairs Minister will call on President Prithviraj Singh Rupun and Prime Minister Pravin Jugnauth. He will also meet his counterpart, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and International Trade and Minister for Land Transport and Light Rail, Alan Ganu. During this visit, Dr. Jaishankar will review all aspects of the bilateral relationship, ongoing implementation of various infrastructure projects being carried out by India in Mauritius. He will also hold discussions on bilateral, regional and global issues of mutual interest, including India's assistance to Mauritius. Now, with the recent surge in COVID cases in Maharashtra, strict restrictions have been imposed in several cities, including capital Mumbai. In Mumbai, the police have been authorized to penalize offenders. Further, all educational institutions and major markets have been closed in Nagpur till the 7th of March. Night curfew has also been imposed in Pune. And let me take you across to my colleague Yogesh for more on this. Yogesh, just tell us these steps that have been taken by the government in different administrations and cities. To what extent do they feel this will help in curbing this rise in the number of cases that we've seen in particularly cities in Maharashtra over the last few days?
See, Gautam, as far as city is concerned, we know that the COVID figures has been a concern in the city of Mumbai, particularly because the congestion and the amount of the population, the number of population, the scenario we see in particularly in Mumbai. Also, we know that local has started functioning in last few months, and that is the reason why the gatherings are everywhere. So, in yesterday, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray had addressed the state and also said that there will be a complete ban on any party or any procession, any march, any gathering, protest, or any activities which may lead to gathering. And also, back-to-back raids are being conducted at different pubs, different restaurants, bars to ensure that whether they are following the norms. If they are not following the norms, then the FIRs are being filed against these violators under Section 188 and also under Section 269 of the Indian Penal Code. So basically, legal actions are being taken, and the government has started implementing the COVID-19 norms more strictly strictly as it was earlier. So a lot of steps have been taken, particularly in Mumbai, talking precisely about the city. Now coming to apart, those areas, those districts basically where the numbers have just take a very high numbers are being observed, like in Amravati, in Pune. Also, you have rightly said that lockdown has been declared there. Also, night curfews imposed in some parts of Maharashtra for next few days, and the government and the authorities are closely monitoring the situation. As far as city is concerned, the Chief Minister has said that in the next 8 days, it will be decided that whether the lockdown will have to be imposed or there will be no imposition of another lockdown, because the government has made it very clear to the people that it is up to the people. If they follow the norms, if they are observing the precautions that have been laid down by the government, by the central government and also by the state government, like frequently washing hands, using masks, and also maintaining social distancing. So if people are following the norms and the number goes down, then there will be no lockdown, no
Yes.
further lockdown. But in case they are not complying with the norms, then the government will be bound to announce further lockdown. So this is the current situation in Maharashtra. We know that in last 24 hours, around 6,972 COVID-19 cases have been registered. That is, in fact, that's a big number, because recently we had seen that number was going around 3,000 or 4,000,
Yes.
and also active patients were around 30,000. So now the active number of patients has also gone up, and it has just reached beyond 50,000. So the numbers are increasing, but at the same time, the government has just taken all the steps. The agencies are on alert. You have also rightly mentioned that Mumbai police has been empowered to issue challans. Earlier, only BMC officials were empowered to issue challans. Recently, we had seen that GRP also got empowered by the authorities to issue challans in the Mumbai local.
Okay.
So now at this point in time, Mumbai police has also been empowered. So overall, all the adequately we can say that adequately the government is trying their best to leaving no stone unturned to get a sense in the to get a sense of fear in the people that law and orders are there. So you should not violate the norms at this point in time. It depends. It remains to be seen that how people respond to that. But also we are observing that people are also the people of Maharashtra and Mumbai also cooperating with the government. Now it remains to be seen that how it works in the next few days. Yeah,
Yes, as they should. And this warning about a lockdown coming back again in about 8 days' time, again, it will be similar to the kind of response we've seen now, that on one hand there's strict enforcement, the other, depending on how severe is the situation in which part of the state, different kind of measures could be taken, because it's right now different in Mumbai, it's different in Nagpur, it's different in Pune.
As far as Nagpur, Pune, and Amravati, these areas are concerned, so lockdown has already been, already been announced there, and also
Yes.
the authorities are just closely monitoring the situation. Coming to Mumbai, Mumbai has a different challenge, because we have seen that Mumbai is basically the way the population is here, in particularly Mumbai. We know that in Mumbai locals also, since the Mumbai local has started functioning, the people are just returning back. The migrated people who generally they are migrated from different states to Mumbai just for employment. They are now working their job, and since back-to-back unlocking, we have seen that the government has decided, both the government have decided to release the lockdown, to unlock the activities, and that is the reason why we are seeing gatherings, and also because vaccination has started, so
Yes.
there will be a sense in the people that there is no threat, there is nothing to worry about at this point in time. But the Chief Minister also yesterday made it very clear that now there is a not second wave, but the second wave is around the corner. It is at the door of us. Now it remains. It is up to us that whether we allow those second wave to enter our home, or we have to avoid it. So this is basically the thing that government is working, and also 8 days time has been given. We can I think we should think that in next 8 days it will be very clear. If the numbers go down, then there will be a relief for the Mumbaikars and also for the
Certainly.
government, because government, we have seen that how the activities were taken up and what were the situations that the state of Maharashtra particularly going through.
Well,
Especially
certainly, let's
Maharashtra, which has the,
hope that
largest
these
COVID-19
measures
cases we
do
have
the
seen.
trick, and the numbers that are rising these days, they are checked and they are brought down, and stricter measures are not really required. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Yogesh Sheetal. Okay, now in Midday Prime, it's time for all the news and updates from the economy and business world. And for all the economy and business updates, we've got Ajay with us.
Thanks very much, Gautam. My first news is about the Uttar Pradesh budget, and the Yogi Adityanath-led government on Monday presented a 5.5 lakh crore rupees budget for 2021-22 in the State Assembly. This will likely be the last budget of the BJP government before the state goes into polls next year. This is also Uttar Pradesh's first paperless budget. The budget size for the year is 5,50,270 crore rupees. The budget includes new scheme of 27,598 crore 40 lakh rupees. In view of doubling farmers' income by the year 2020, an outlay of 100 crores proposed for Atmanirbhar Krishak Samanvit Vikas Yojana in the year 2021-22. 600 crore proposed for the Mukhyamantri Krishak Durghatna Kalyan Yojana. A provision of 700 crores for the free water facilities to the farmers has been made. The provision of 400 crore for providing crop loan to farmers at concessional rates has also been made in the budget. The target of setting up 15,000 solar pumps in the next financial year has also been fixed, and there are a lot more announcements on the front of infrastructure development in the state going forward. And the domestic equity market were trading nearly 2% down in the afternoon deals on Monday. S&P BSE Sensex was trading below 50,000, while the Nifty 50 index gave up 14,750 levels. Broader markets were outperforming the benchmark on opening, but later slipped along with them. The India VIX for the fear gauze was 5%, sitting above 23 levels. ONGC, SDFC Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Asian Paints, Ultratech Cement and Infosys were the only Sensex stocks to trade in the green. On the other hand, L&T and Mahindra were the top draggers on the indices. And the Supreme Court had stopped regulatory approval for the Future Group's $3.4 billion asset sale to Reliance Industries, effectively halting the deal and marking another victory for Amazon.com, which wants to scuttle the transaction in its bid to dominate the country's retail sector. Agreeing with the American e-commerce giant petition, the top court on Monday overturned a lower court's ruling and stopped India's company tribunal from approving the transaction till further orders. The court issued notices to Future Retail Limited seeking written statement on Amazon petition. Justice F. Nariman, who is heading the two-judge panel, said the court will hear the case again after 5 weeks. So that's all in the Business Prime for today. Let's go back to Gautam.
Thanks a lot, Ajay. And now we'll turn focus to all the updates that are coming in from across the world as well. Well, in top international news, airlines in the United States and Japan have grounded dozens of Boeing 777 aircraft after the dramatic engine failure that United Airlines Flight 328 experienced over Denver this weekend. The Federal Aviation Administration issued an emergency airworthiness directive that requires immediate or stepped-up inspections of Boeing 777 airplanes equipped with certain Pratt & Whitney PW4000 engines. United Airlines said it is voluntarily grounding 24 Boeing 777 aircraft that use the 4000 series Pratt & Whitney engines. And Japan Civil Aviation Bureau has also ordered Japan Airlines and All Nippon Airways to remove their aircraft with the same engines from service. Japan Airlines operates 14 and ANA has 19 of such aircraft. The Japanese Transport Ministry said a JAL flight from Naha Airport to Tokyo International Airport returned to the airport in December last year due to a malfunction in the left engine. That plane is the same age as the 26-year-old United Airlines plane involved in Saturday's incident. Meanwhile, Boeing said it supported decisions by Japan Civil Aviation Bureau and Federal Aviation Administration to suspend operations of all 777 aircraft powered by Pratt & Whitney 4112 engines. The company also recommended suspending operations of the 69 in-service and 59 in-storage 777s powered by the same engine until the FAA identifies the appropriate inspection protocol. Boeing also said that it is actively monitoring recent events related to United Airlines Flight 328. Now, Iran and the International Atomic Energy Agency reached a temporary agreement on continued nuclear inspections, but access will be reduced. More in this report.
The International Atomic Energy Agency and the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran recalled and reaffirmed the spirit of cooperation and enhanced mutual trust. The UN nuclear watchdog said that Iran has agreed to extend the UN inspectors' access to its nuclear sites for 3 months. The announcement was made by the International Atomic Energy Agency Chief Rafael Grossi.
In the first place, we reconfirmed that Iran will continue to implement the Comprehensive Safeguards Agreement without any limitation, as they have been doing so far. In the second place, we agreed that in view of the law, and in particular the provision that establishes limitations, we reached a temporary bilateral technical understanding whereby the agency is going to continue its necessary verification and monitoring activities for a period of up to 3 months.
The IAEA chief, during his week-long visit to Tehran, held talks with the Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif and the head of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, Ali Akbar Salehi. The two sides discussed the agency's essential verification activities. Grossi's visit came before a 23rd of February deadline set by Iran's parliament for new US President Joe Biden to lift the crippling sanctions imposed by his predecessor Donald Trump, or Tehran would halt the snap IAEA inspections. After the task, both the sides agreed that Iran will continue to implement fully and without limitation its comprehensive safeguards agreement with the IAEA as before. They also agreed to a temporary bilateral technical understanding compatible with the law, whereby the IAEA will continue with its necessary verification and the monitoring activities for up to 3 months. Also, the two sides agreed to keep the technical understanding under regular review to ensure it continues to achieve its purposes. Iran has been gradually breaching terms of a 2015 nuclear pact with the world powers since the US, under former President Donald Trump, withdrew in 2018 and reimposed the sanctions. The crisis over Iran's nuclear program has been on the international agenda for almost 20 years. Iran says its atomic program is for peaceful purposes, while the US and others suspect Iran is secretly seeking the capability to develop nuclear weapons. Bureau Report, DD India.
So what does this mean, this agreement between the IAEA and Iran, and for the larger objective of getting everyone back to that key nuclear deal that was struck in 2015, of which the US walked out of in 2018. But now there is hope that since the Biden administration has come in, the deal could be revived. Let's go across to our guest, Kamaraga, noted expert on foreign and strategic affairs. Kamaraga, what do you make of this? This is basically 3 months of buying time so that this latest development that we've seen, that the US has said that it's willing to look at the possibility of sitting down with all the parties concerned, including Iran, to which Iran has officially not reacted. That process gets initiated and has some legs to it as well.
Iran has bought the time. I mean, it's a win-win situation for both IAEA as well as Iran, because earlier Iran had said that it would stop nuclear inspections altogether from Tuesday, means tomorrow. Now they have come to some sort of agreement. Actually, Iran is pressurizing United States and the other big powers, to resume negotiation, lift sanctions. That is the whole diplomacy Iran is using its nuclear card, to pressurize international community, come to the negotiating table, lift sanctions. These are the basic fundamentals. And it has allowed the IAEA inspector to remain in Iran for next 3 months. They'll continue inspections, they'll continue to verify and monitor Iranian activities, but they have also snapped back this basically, inspections, snap inspections will not be allowed next week. But the cameras would remain there. IAEA cameras would remain fitted there. They'll continue to operate, So these are the things, and let's see Iran's whole diplomacy is, to re-engage revive the nuclear talks with the big powers, and they want sanctions to be lifted as soon as possible. They are very hopeful, but at the same time they are also pressurizing Americans. They should not delay it. The talk should not be delayed, and I mean, because there are news, which suggests that Americans might wait till the election, Iranian presidential election, which is expected to take place sometime in June. They want before that the process to begin with the negotiation. American in next 6 months, sanction would they'll get some sanctions relief, particularly the oil-related sanction. They wanted they should be allowed to export while their economy is in dire crisis. They're facing serious economic crisis at home, and at the same time, but the problem is, the West does not trust Iran. Iran has been saying repeatedly that its program is for peaceful purposes, it's a peaceful nuclear.
Yes, it's already gone to 20% enrichment, and they're saying that the other parties are saying that that is not something that is required really, so Iran should walk back on that. But the US last week, A, expressed willingness to sit down and talk, B, it told the UN Security Council that we're not imposing those sanctions that the Trump administration had said last year that they will be bringing them in, and C, they allowed they relaxed the movement of some of the Iranian diplomats. So these were conciliatory signals, but Iran has not responded in the same way. So is it really possible for the Biden administration to drop the sanctions altogether?
I don't think that would be possible, but gradual relaxation may be possible. Gradually they may lift secondary sanctions, may allow India and some other country to import oil from Iran, because these are the India and other countries would be demanding, that they should be allowed to import oil, because we are losing a lot of revenues in the process. Iranian oil is cheaper to us, and transportation charges are less, and secondly, Iran is very close to India, and 3 of our oil refineries are geared to Iranian oil. So therefore, this sort of pressure is coming from other countries as well, and if the Iranian oil comes to the market, the oil prices will also come down slightly, it is expected. So there are a number of factors are working, and but all together, all the sanctions imposed by Trump administration, I don't think would be lifted. But once the negotiations begin, we hope, some remedy or some solution would come out, because European Union is also very keen, nobody wants Iran to make weapon, including India doesn't want Iran to develop nuclear weapon system, because we already have Pakistan, China has developed the nuclear, and this region is very close to India. India doesn't want another nuclear power country having a nuclear weapon in this region. So we are basically opposed to nuclear proliferation. Our policy, India's policy is basically, we want total disarmament of nuclear weapons. We believe that this NPT is tilted to, it allows big powers to have nuclear weapon, whereas it denies others to have, discriminatory. So therefore, our approach is, that total disarmament. Everybody should disarm their nuclear weapon. India believes in peace, and our policy is very consistent. We have, when we signed the nuclear deal with America, we make it very clear we don't want weapons.
Yes, at the same time, we would also like to see the suffering of the Iranian people, see that end, and that is only possible once they get back and talk, and then perhaps the sanction will be lifted. We don't know who will blink first here, but another aspect is that whether it's possible to just go back to the deal as it was in 2015, or do new elements, do they also need to be added? Because there are certain people who are saying that one needs to also look at Iran's missile program and also its other activities in the region, the actions in the region.
You see, Iran would be willing to accommodate its nuclear program, will scale down back to square one, back to the earlier position, or maybe further, would be willing to have it. And I suppose, they will also accept the cut down its missile program. But when it comes to its regional behavior, which the American call it, they should, give up its support to the Shia militant groups in the region and withdraw its support to Hezbollah and support to Bashar al-Assad government in Syria, or not to support Houthi Shia militia in Yemen. I don't think Iran would accept this demand. They will continue to support these things. Iran is working on two levels. One, it is negotiating with the American, whereas on the other hand, it is also trying to impress Saudi Arabia and other GCC members. Qatar is negotiating with both. Qatar is also talking about that the GCC countries should talk to Iran and reduce tension in the region, because oil prices are low and they cannot afford to have a continued war in Yemen. And the key to Yemen war lies with Iran. So these are, on the other hand, Iranians are also willing to negotiate with Americans and European powers to resume this restart or kickstart the nuclear peace deal. So they are working at two different levels. I'm sure the talks are going on. Qatar is, on behalf of Iran, is talking to Americans. This is an open secret. They have already announced it. And besides this, the EU is also mediating between American and they've taken some initiatives. So hopefully something would come up. Let's hope so. For us, this region is very important. It is very close to India. 70 lakh Indian used to work there. Number has come down, but it's still a large number. And about 75 to 80% oil comes from this region. If we have to have 6 to 8% economic growth, we have to have uninterrupted oil supply from this region. So for us, this region is very important. And we want,
certainly the peace in this region is paramount in the interest of so many players that it will be very difficult to not make progress in the direction that a lot of parties are interested in seeing it go. Let's see what happens next. Thank you so much for joining us for the moment, Kamaraga. Okay, now an update on the situation in Myanmar, where people in large numbers have attended the funeral of a young woman killed in protests against a military coup in Naypyidaw. Hundreds lined the streets leading to the crematorium in Naypyidaw, where the first casualty was laid to rest, while hundreds more rode in vehicles trailing the hearse. Mei Thwe Keng was injured when police tried to disperse protesters earlier this month. She was kept on life support for 10 days but died on Friday last week. Meanwhile, in Yangon, hundreds gathered outside the US Embassy to hold a candlelight vigil for those who have died during the last 21 days of protests across the country. 3 protesters have been killed during the actions taken by the military police so far. And US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has meanwhile said the United States will continue to take firm action against authorities violently cracking down on opponents of the military coup in Myanmar. The US Secretary of State in his Twitter post said, and I quote, "The United States will continue to take firm action against those who perpetrate violence against the people of Burma as they demand the restoration of their democratically elected government. We stand with the people of Burma." Blinken's post has come 10 days after the United States imposed sanctions on Myanmar's acting president and several other military officers. Now, casting his ballot in the second round of presidential elections on Sunday, former president of Niger and electoral candidate Mahamane Ousmane said election fraud would not be tolerated. Ousmane is Niger's first democratically elected president and was ousted in a 1996 military coup. He is contesting against Mohamed Bazoum from the ruling party. Bazoum is seen by many as the favorite after leading in the first round on the 27th of December with 39.3% of the vote compared to Usmane's 17%. You all the updates from the world of sports. And with all the updates from different sporting arenas, we've got Narayan.
Thanks, Gautam. Let's get started with some cricket stories. Ahead of the India versus England next match, Rohit Sharma came hard at those criticizing the test pitches in India, saying that the pitches in India are prepared in the same manner for many years and he doesn't think there needs to any changes in that approach. Rohit further said that every team takes advantage of the home condition. According to the veteran batsman, none of the teams think about them when they why should they think about the visiting teams?
जब हम बाहर जाते हैं तो लोग भी वहाँ पर हमारा लाइफ डिफ़िकल्ट करते हैं, तो मुझे नहीं लगता है कि पिचेस के बारे में ज़्यादा चर्चा करनी चाहिए। गेम के बारे में चर्चा करो, प्लेयर के बारे में चर्चा करो कि प्लेयर कैसे बैटिंग कर रहा है, प्लेयर बॉल कैसे डाल रहा है, उसके बारे में चर्चा होएगी, चलो ठीक है। बट पिचेस के बारे में नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि पिचेस में दोनों टीम खेलती है और दोनों टीम में जो अच्छा खेलेगी वो मैच जीतेंगे।
Karnataka will be hosting the second edition of the Khelo India University Games 2021, scheduled for the later this year. The announcement was made on Sunday by the Chief Minister of Karnataka, B.S. Yedurappa, and the Union Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju. The games will be held in Bengaluru's Jain University and other venues at in the state in the partnership with the Association of Indian Universities. Khelo India University Games is aimed at tapping the sporting talent who can represent India in international events, including the Olympics. This year, Yogasana and Malkam have been added to the University Games with an effort to preserve and promote the century-old sporting disciplines of the country.
Finally, we have decided that the second edition of Khelo India University Games will be given to Karnataka, and the university is Jain University. The Chancellor, Sri Chenraj Roychen, the Chancellor of Jain University, is present here. I am very confident that this university is having all the potential and capability to organize one of the best university games in the history of India. So it's a very important day for all of us, especially for the Jain University, because that will celebrate the power of sports of Karnataka.
Indian boxers continued their impressive run at the 30th Adriatic Pearl Tournament in Montenegro, living up to the favourite stag Vinica in 60 kg and T. Samancha Chanu in 75 kg clinched 2 more gold medals for the country. Rohtak Vinka blanked her opponent Kristina Kripa from Moldova final in the final, while in an all-Indian gold medal clash of the 75 kg category, Manipuri girl Sanmacha, who was touted as a strong contender for the gold, showed aggressive intent from the word go and did not allow her opponent, teammate Raj Saiba, any chance to fight back before securing an easy final win. Now shifting focus to football, Man City extended their winning run across all competition to 18 matches with a narrow 1-0 triumph over Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. Raheem Sterling headed in only goal of the game inside the opening 2 minutes of the match, and City were comfortably able to keep Arsenal at bay despite some rare opportunities for the hosts. Arsenal have now lost each of their past 8 league games against Man City, their joint longest run of consecutive league defeats against opponent, along with an 8-game run versus Leeds United between 1973 and 1976. Both the teams now turn their attention to European competition, with Arsenal facing a trip to Athens for the Europa League last 32 second leg against Benfica, while Man City face off against Borussia Mönchengladbach in the first leg of the Champions League last 16 tie. Meanwhile, Manchester United moved back second in the Premier League table with a hard-fought 3-1 victory over Newcastle United at Old Trafford. Marcus Rashford scored the opening goal of the match in the 30th minute to give Man United 1-0 lead. Alan Saint-Maximin then scored a deserved equaliser with his first goal since coming back from a 2-month absence caused by coronavirus symptoms, slamming in after Harry Maguire failed to clear. The Newcastle winger threatened again early in the second half, but the game turned after 57 minutes when Daniel James re-established the lead for Manchester United. That goal led to Newcastle's confidence draining away, with Rashford then earning a penalty as he drew a foul from Joe Willock before Bruno Fernandes knocked in his 22nd goal of the season. That's all from the sporting world. Back to you, Gautam.
Thank you, Narayan. And now it's time for our next segment, which is all about the softer side of hard news, Live Prime. The India Toy Fair, which is scheduled to be held from the 27th of this month to the 2nd of March, has been receiving good response from toy manufacturers across the country. A number of manufacturers have registered their names to take part in this 4-day virtual event. The event is bringing all stakeholders, which is toy manufacturers, exporters, students, parents, teachers, experts and the government machinery onto a single platform to discuss the gamut of issues related to the Indian toy industry.
7 लाख करोड़ रुपए से भी अधिक की है. Team up for toys.
The government of India is organizing India's first ever, the India Toy Fair. Indian local toy manufacturers march forward for Atmanirbhar Bharat. It's time to get vocal for your remarkable local. From 27th February to 2nd March, must come forward to get registered online at www.theindiatoyfair.in.
So do check in on that one as and when that happens. Thanks a lot for watching Midday Prime for today. But as always, do remember to mask up, wash your hands, keep social distancing going, and if your turn comes, get that vaccine as well. Thanks for watching.